After last week was lost to the World Tech Outage Global Meltdown, I'm relieved to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that Indycar is back on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. A rescheduled second round of the championship, although technically still listed on our Google Drive document as round 3. It is round 2 of the championship. We don't know the fate of the originally scheduled round 2 as yet. We'll work that out in due course. But it's the culmination of week 3 of term 3 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Night 5 of the week for you, and it's the end of Spa week, bar one stop here on Sunday, which will not be broadcast, and it's the final of the Enduro Championship. Good evening, everybody. I'm Zach Caban. Nick Vadiatis is here alongside me, so too Joe Baldwin. Welcome to Friday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Nick, it's been a long time since I've said the words welcome to Friday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. It is great to have it back, mate. One round down, and still at least 8, maybe 9 to go, and a good field in the house. Clearly, too much Spa is not enough this week, it would seem.
Welcome back, Zach. It's good to have you back on board. Yeah, well, look, in terms of scheduling, I tried to line this up a lot more with the Formula One schedule so that we had Spa going into Spa so we could watch it across the weekend.
Exactly, of course, and a lot of interest in Formula One at the moment. If you're not an Olympic fan, of course, there are other sports that you can look forward to over the course of the next 2.5 weeks. But yes, very much looking forward to Sunday night, the Belgian Grand Prix, qualifying tomorrow night at midnight, the race Sunday night, 11 o'clock, especially on the back of Oscar Piastri's heroics last Sunday night at the Hungaro Ring. Interesting because I know you, as we have a look at Liam Haycock going around there, qualifying about to conclude, folks. Cars will be on the grid in just a moment. I know how you operate, mate. You would love a more eclectic mix of ovals and road courses, but there's a strong emphasis on road courses this championship.
Well, we do live in Australia, so not too many oval guys on using the iRacing system. So I've catered to that, but then I've thrown in 3 ovals just to make sure that we do get some oval work, which I think will be the next round anyway. So some flat out ones and some tighter ones. Should be good. Indeed.
The grid will be with us in just a moment here, folks, because the cars are lining up at the end of the qualifying session. It says 45 laps at the top of my screen, but I'm pretty sure it's only meant to be 30 laps tonight. Yes, yeah, right. Over 65 minutes, but that's okay. We'll work with it as we go here, folks. Round 3 of the championship. Ash Lear on the front row, Chris Noble alongside Sam Stryden, Daniel Yeaman from 2, Adam Lavis, Jackson DR from 3, Liam Haycock, David Baz from 4, Aidan Luthwaite and Fred Kahn from 5, and as Greg Heaney's pointed out, good representation from the Whiskey Business Racing stable here so far. Matt Schmidtke in the Aussie Racers stable alongside his teammate Paul Wood in row 6. Row 7 is Scott Jordanson and Eduardo Zamora. Row 8, Kurt Nomanson, Pete Matson. Row 9, Cody Deeth and Ryan Howe. Row 10, Jack Humphries, Dave Oliver. Row 11 is where you're going to find Aaron Bryan and Wayne Visser. And I think Brett Bradbury will make up the field on that note. Shane Newens is a new addition to our team in race control. Tim Watson ably assisting him tonight. Nick will be in and out doing the same thing as well. Quickly, for those that are new to GSRC Indycar, Nick, as we have a look at the track and weather information there for you, remind us of the lay of the land, please.
So it's a race of 2 halves. There will be a competition caution just to bunch people up. So if they do crash out or have a terrible beginning half of the race, they just got to stay either on a lap down or on the lead lap, and once they bunch up behind the safety car, they'll be waved through and they can get their lap back. And then yeah, it's going to be tyre strategy because there's only 3 sets of tyres. They must use both compounds. Yep. And they have to refuel on top of all that, and Spa being Spa, it's going to be nice and fast, but also you're going to be a bit of dodgem cars as well.
Now, are we expecting 2 stops or 1 tonight, mate?
We're expecting 3, possibly 3? A 4th top-up.
Righto.
The fuel tanks, it's a bit like Road America. You can't really push an extra lap around here because you'll be stuck down near Stavlo somewhere. And all the main straights are uphill. So looking at about 7 laps a tank. Yep. And because of the heat of the track, as we see, it's 43 degrees. I don't think red tyres are going to last 7 laps around here. So it could be more than 3 stops. Could be even a 4th stop if people are pushing hard. So we'll see how we go.
A bit of news off the top as you have a look at it. It's a 7-kilometre circuit. And there's the championship points for you. 61 for John Merritt, 57 for Aaron Russell, 51 for Adam Lavis, 45 for Ashley, and 43 for Aidan Luthwaite. Bit of news for you off the top, and that is that Jackson Dial is opted to start from pit lane here as the rest of the field makes their way onto the main straight. They'll see the green flag. We'll get going at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium, a 7-kilometre circuit.
Oh wow, 3 wide.
Just past 2 o'clock in the afternoon as we get the green flag for round 3 of the championship, round 2 in technicality terms, on the back of last week's abandonment. Beyond our control, of course, those circumstances. The world went to meltdown last week. Beautiful start from Ash Lear at the top end of town. He and Chris Noble lead the field away. Daniel Yeaman's made a good start getting by Sam Stride, and David Baz, the big mover, up 3 spots on the opening lap.
I can already see people on the push to pass there on the far right-hand column. There's already people using it. And we can see them 3 wide down the back there coming up to Lacombe. Side by side here through the middle.
That's
These guys sort themselves out.
Brave. Whoa,
It's going to be 2 wide again, 3 wide again.
Have a look at this. That's brave. On the opening lap of 35, or 30 I should say. Have a look at that. Magnificent stuff. Sam Stride it is on the inside.
You'll find, Zach, too, also with the red tyres, during green flag stops, they'll take a couple corners before they really get going. Whereas the black tyres, the harder tyre, they're right on it straight away. So there is a penalty to pay when you go to red tyres, and but it looks like in this opening lap at least, these guys such as Sam Stride are on it.
I'll be interested to see what Greg Healy's teammate Jackson Dial has to say for himself as to why he started from pit lane tonight. That seems an obscure sort of an approach for my liking. However, how nice is it to be back, A, on a Friday night, and B, with Indycar, ladies and gentlemen. A mainstay here through 2021 and 2022 on the platforms of the GSRC, and back in business in 2024. There's Paul Wood on the outside, being passed by Cody Deeth, and Adam Lavis is just ahead of them as well. He's got Fred Kahn for company at the moment, does Paul Wood, as we get to the bus stop to end the opening lap. Main straight. 1 lap in the can, 29 to go. Standing lap time, 1 minute 59.005 for Ashley. He leads it by half a second. The big mover on the opening lap, Cody Deeth, up 9 spots. That is one hell of a charge off the start. And he's on the primary tyre, which is of interest, because there's a mix of those running the red compound, the alternate tyre, and those running the primary compound here. And the primary compound of Cody Deeth has gained 9 spots. He's up from 17th to 8th. There have been a couple of prangs on the opening lap. We'll have a look at them for you in just a moment. And this has got Jordan on the run at turn 1.
Start of lap 2.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
up and over. Did well not to loop it, Bennett, on his lip.
Wrong kind of wings there.
Yes, it's not a Red Bull.
Not a 3-time world champion going over the top of a 7-time world champion, eh?
Correct, mate, correct. No, I couldn't believe that when I thought it. So, there we go. Daniel Yeaman, a good start. Matt Schmidtke down 10 spots as well. So Schmidtke obviously caught up in that moment there with Scott Jordanson. Nick's jumped down into race control for the moment. It says that Jackson Dial's down a lap. He shouldn't be. I just think iRacing's taking a little bit of time to correct itself, because he did join the... Yes, there it is. It's just jolted into gear now. He did join the server from pit lane, and it had him running at minus a lap. So that will hopefully correct itself very shortly, and we'll find him up battling for position there with... Oh, it's very hard to tell at the moment. I think that's Jordanson behind him. I think that's Aaron Bryan that he's with at the moment. And we've got Joe Baldwin joining me in the commentary box at the moment. Hello, mate. Nice to have you on board. There's Haycock. A good start from him in 4th.
Yeah, mate, he's having a good run. It's I've got to say, there's a bunch of new names in there tonight. We've got a little bit of royalty in Dan Yeaman. He's well known in the iRacing circles in Australia. He's actually joined us for our first main race during the week. He's done a fair bit with the Endurance Championship, and he's making the most of the switch over, and he's joined us for Indycar on a Friday night.
And look at the battle behind them as well. So that battle, 6th, 7th and 8th. And down the inside, that's Sam Stride being relegated to 5th, but it's Daniel Geeman being relegated to 4th. Liam Haycock up 4 spots into 3rd on the opening lap here. Geeman on the primary. The two that flank him are on the alternate rubber at the moment, the red tyre. And these are, of course, the beloved legendary Firestone Indycar tyres we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. And off-track, Fred Kahn lit up the off-track light there momentarily, but he seems to be okay. Hayden Luthwaite slotted into 7th spot. Cody Deep is the one to watch behind Sam Stride. He's within striking distance of Stride. He's up 11 spots already. Cody's having one almighty charge in the opening 3 laps here. And we're riding on board with Stride through the middle sector of the circuit, and then they'll begin that open throttle run from this section here, this fast-flowing right-hander, all the way around to the braking zone at the bus stop.
Fantastic part of the track here too. Like this, you can set a lot of moves up here. In the Porsches last night, the draft, if you can get through the kink there, down this braking zone here, you sort of top gear all the way down to the bottom of the gearbox for the final chicane onto the main straight. So we've got one around the background.
Geeman! And he was not alone. Haycock went with him. Haycock had gone around.
3 wide across the line as well.
Awesome. What's happened here?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, you got it sideways on the transition between the two.
Stride got into the side of him. Stride got into the side of him. And Haycock did it all on his own.
And it's
Luthwaite, the beneficiary in all of that. He's gone up to 4th.
2 broken front wings.
Oh, no. And that really impacts strategy play, doesn't it, for the rest of the night for those guys? Disaster in the early stages. There's Chris Noble all over the back of Ashley. The two teammates are going along quite nicely, 1 and 2. They're 7 seconds down the road from Luthwaite, who's now 3rd, having got by Baz on the Kemmel Straight. Lap 4 at 30. The gloves are off at Spa. It's a 2-minute lap time around here. Or 1 minute 56. So, I mean, once you had a couple of pit stops in, rounded up to about 2 minutes. So there's not going to be much in the way of wriggle room for that time. Certainly cut off of 65 minutes and 30 laps tonight. Let me tell you, just quietly.
I'm jumping to Mavies just past Ridey.
Adam Lavis making inroads now. Having got by Paul Wood, and Fred Kahn has gone with all of those aforementioned players, because Sam Stride's been relegated to 8th, but Stride's one of the two with the broken front wing at the moment, I do believe I'm right in saying. Chaotic start to the Belgian round of the championship at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Quickly want to shout out, we're being heard in Wagga tonight, gentlemen. Wagga, that beautiful Riverina city in southern New South Wales. Craig Bond, one of the junior karters down there with the Wagga Kart Club, he's tuning in.
Move.
Oh, couldn't get by,
Sorry,
couldn't get it done. No, you're right. I knew exactly what you were looking at. Adam Lavis under pressure from his teammate Paul Wood. But Bondy's tuning in. Nice to see that he's able to get enough bandwidth and network for the GSRC broadcast, but he didn't have enough network to play the Xbox earlier in the afternoon. It went down whilst we were trying to play F1 23. True story. Now, Aidan Luthwaite, 3rd place at the moment. David Baz going with him, and a swarm of cars on pit lane, boys. Zamora, Matson, Howe, Deep and Stride, all on pit lane. So all coming in to get some damage and probably disperse of their fast repair early in the piece as well, Nick.
They're all teammates. Well, here's the thing. If the tanks are lasting 7 laps, 7, 14, 21, 28, and then a little run to the end, they're getting that little run out of the way now. They should be good for another 3 full stops.
Yeah.
But the safety car is going to throw a cat amongst the pigeons in that one. But we won't know till towards the end of the race.
Now, truth be told, we don't know. Only race control knows exactly when that competition caution is going to be thrown. But there's usually stipulations on when it can't be thrown, Nick. Just remind me. It's not to be thrown in the first 5 and the last 10, is that right?
Not in the first, I've changed it to a minute thing, because obviously a long track like this and makes it a bit hard for 10 laps. First 10 minutes or last 15, so it's a nice clean run to the flag.
Copy.
So it's roughly the 10, for this particular race, it'll be the 10 in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, and so there's a 35-minute window there in which you might see that competition caution thrown.
Brian Housen pits.
Keeping you updated as well on Friday Night Footy around the region. AFL, NRL in action tonight, so I'll bring you some score updates as we get a chance. In the meantime, David Baz hovering all over the back of Aiden Luke like a cheap suit. Here's a replay of Ryan Howe coming unstuck. And that's unfortunate for him because he'd already been.
Yeah.
And that's
to catch it back up.
You know what that's like, don't you, Nick? Once you're frustrated the red mist descends, you just overdrive it then.
Thanks for the bust. Yes, I have been known to let the red mist descend, but yeah, I'm getting better at it. And yes, it is very frustrating. You just want to drive as hard as you can, and clearly he overdrove it there into the no-name corner.
Don't worry, I know what the red mist is all about. I was following Nissan home on the run back from the CBD. Wasn't me. And has no idea what 60 kilometres an hour means. I mean, it's not 40 and it's not 50, mate. Hand in your licence, please. Fred Kahn in 5th place at the moment. And looking back to Adam Lavis. Go, Nick.
Of the primary or harder tyre, black tyre runners, Leafway there, up 6 spots up to 3rd. Part of that through misfortune of some of the other guys. Up 6 spots into 3rd place there, 6.8 seconds off the lead. With the limited tyre sets, he might be sitting pretty. It all depends on how those reds or the soft tyres handle this heat, because there's lots of long corners around here, a la this one, Pouhon, if we're going to say it like a French person. Double left-hander there. It's going to load up those right side tyres, and then, you know, all these corners are long corners. There's not so much slow stuff around here, so it could be looking good for those guys on the harder tyres. Get the double stint out of the way.
You're watching Friday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Great to have the Road to Indy Series breathing new life in 2024. I had to take a little bit of a vacation there for a while because of iRacing doing iRacing things and motorsport and motorsport games not following through with their promise. Have a look at that. That's bold from Liam Haycock. What a move that is on the outside of Jackson Dial. So it has corrected nicely for Dial. He's now up into 10th, and they're both on pit lane. Ashley, Chris Noble, Aiden Luke, Blake, David Bass, Fred Kahn also on pit lane. 6 laps gone, 12 minutes gone. It seems as though 6 is that critical number for that opening stint. New race leader Adam Lavis continues on. That's no surprise. Paul Wood, Daniel Yeaman go with him. So too Dave Oliver. Chris Noble's got back out onto the racetrack as well.
So you can tell when the cars go up. The cars going up, they will change tyres. Cars are staying on the ground. They're going to double stint those tyres. There's generally going to be the black tyres too. So it looks like this is your top 3. How is the tyre
wear around here? Do we know?
Unfortunately, no.
Bad last night, the Porsches.
We'll find out, no doubt, in the post race. But I'm just because of the temperatures and the long corners, I'm going to say the red tyres are not going to last too long. It looks like 6 laps seems to be the number.
Actually, Joe, if you don't mind, can you just remind us by bringing up the little table there, the graph at the right-hand side of the screen, what the track conditions are like at the moment? Because Yeaman down the inside of Lavis. Yeaman gets the job done on Adam Lavis. Into Pouhon. What a move that was. Poor boy. Went through no name, got the run, got down the inside of Lavis and got the job done. Now, I'm reading on my timing poll, sorry Joe, I might have given you a bum steer here, mate. I'm reading on my timing screen that I've got 22.9 degrees Celsius for ambient and 43 and a third for track temp. So
yeah, that's what
I think we're good. There it is. Beautiful. There it is. Thank you, Joe. And we're 2:16 in the afternoon, Friday, July 26th. So we're about 2 hours this side of where we would be if we were lining up with the real world time. Because Belgium, like France, is 8 hours behind Australian Eastern Standard Time.
These guys get a bit
6
now.
hours behind at the moment. 8 km/h winds in a mostly easterly direction as the top 3 come to pit lane. So let's focus on that at the moment. 45% humidity as well, but no rain. That's the good news we can report for you here early on.
Here we go, Ashley coming through the lead.
The top 3 come to pit lane, and Noble and Lear go through to resume the race lead. And we know you're big on this as well, Nick. We talk about it all the time, mate. Practicing your pit stops, practicing your run into pit entry. It looks as though no one's been caught up or tripped up by that so far.
Yet. Still another 2-3 stops to go. We'll see what happens. We got Ashley there and Chris Noble here, teammates. It looks like some of their other teammates have tripped over other people, but these two are leading the way. What have they got now? On Leafweight, they got 6.5 seconds. And we see Adam Lavis here coming up behind Khan, and he's got, wow, the rest of the field right behind him. Excuse me. And we'll see who's double stinting tyres and who's changing tyres from blacks to reds and reds to blacks.
So the top three all on the black primary tyre at the moment. Hayden Lukewaite the last of those because he's under pressure. Whoa! Look at this. Sam Stride relegated as Liam Haycock forces his way through down at turn 10. What a move that was. Haycock on his way back through the field after getting caught up in that incident. At the end of, I think it was lap 2 when we saw, or 3 when we saw 3 cars involved in that
yeah, coming out of the bus stop.
Contretemps coming out of the bus stop. I couldn't think of the right word there for a moment. Liam Haycock was one of those, although he was more isolated than anything else. He went on his own. So now Haycock in 9th place, doing a nice job here. Leah, Noble, Ruthwaite, Deeth and Baz the top 5 on corrected order.
I was about to mention Deeth. He's up 13 and he's the only one on reds.
Yeah.
And he's used 4 of his push to passes so far.
I feel as though he's the one to watch once we bunch the field back up after the competition caution. If he can gain 13 places on merit, I just get, and I'm not saying John Merritt, I'm saying merit as in, you know, just by doing the right thing and dotting the I's and crossing the T's. If he can gain 13 spots on merit, then, I mean, bunch the field up, give him a second chance. Who knows? He may well be able to take the fight to Luthwaite, Noble and Lear, who have been mightily impressive thus far. And there they are, weaving down the back straight. Luthwaite just yields. Deeth just blasts on by.
You'll see in the background there, Fred Kahn seems to be the cork in the bottle there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars. Look at them all.
Haycock down on the inside of Paul Wood. Job done. And as you say, Fred Kahn's the cork at the top of the champagne bottle at the moment. Sitting in 6th place, he's got a teammate in Jackson Dial at the back of that train at the moment. Daniel Yeaman's latched back on too. Yeaman's stopped. That's of interest too, boys. Yeaman was stationary for 11.23 seconds. Everybody else was 6, 7s and 8s. I'm not sure what's going on there. Scott Jordanson and Matt Schmidtke have come back to pit lane now as well. And Ryan Howe has parked up and is out of the race. So we're already down to 21, I should say. After 8 laps, we're on lap 9. We're in the final sector of lap 9. Ash Lear has the fastest lap of the race thus far, 1 minute 56.979. Jeez, I forgot how much fun this could be. Well, that being said, I'm still waiting for that processional phase of an IndyCar race. You guys have seen enough of it, you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't feel like we're getting that just yet tonight. It might be like the Porsches. It might just be relentless from start to finish. Look at that. Speaking of relentless, Liam Haycock taking no prisoners tonight. Down on the inside of Adam Lavis. That's normally a one-line groove through there, and I'm pretty sure he's put 2 overtaking manoeuvres on in places you normally wouldn't. So far tonight, all risk, all reward. So far for Liam Haycock, that was a big moment for Adam Lavis. A little bit of a tank slapper. He caught it, but he did lose the opportunity to slipstream with Haycock down the main straight.
Yeah, Fred Kahn, he's really the cork in the bottle, like we said before. He did a 2-minute lap before. He did a 1:59. The leaders have done 57s and 58s in the previous 2 laps, so they're getting away. Up through Eau Rouge. Got Haycock on the back here. And he's gone to the outside already. Is he on the button? No, but Sam Stride back there is on the button as well. And another position.
As well. Dial trying to get down on the inside of Paul Wood and does so. So the Whiskey Business Racing stable well immersed, well embroiled in this battle at the moment. It's Aussie Races v Whiskey Business v Liam Haycock right now. Haycock's actually disappearing. He's put about half a second between himself and Fred Kahn. But they'll reel him in once we get this competition caution. The key is to keep yourself out of trouble until that competition caution. Where are the Summit lads? That's a good point. The boys are still around. Jackson Rayhana is actually tuning into the broadcast. Got to try something to get them back on the grid, though, because they often bring the action to a GSRC broadcast. There's no doubt about that. I think they're plying their trade at the moment in the Super Formula Light Series, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Baldwin.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, that's right.
Missing front wings here.
They're having a good crack in the wings and slicks, and so what was it, the Super Formula Light and the LMP2s, is it, Nick?
They've been focusing a lot on endurance racing lately, so the LMP2 plays right into their books. Let's see, Cody Deeth is in.
Both these
and
guys
some more
are
people.
missing half a front wing, actually. Have a look at that.
Yeah, and they just ran over each other, looks like.
It's a good night for front wings.
Did.
Yeah.
It's a good night for front wings, or the manufacturers of them, rather. A lap 11 to 30. 1/3 race distance for you folks, and already second round pit stops underway. Fred Kahn chasing down the Camel Straight Liam Haycock, and he's got Jackson Dial for company as well. It's been a good charge through from Dial. Started from pit lane, was originally due to start in 6th. He's now back to where he was supposed to start all that time ago.
20 laps to go, so now you know what your fuel number is. You should have a good idea what your tyre life is. Now you want to be trying to engineer your race back to front and try and make sure you got the best set of tyres and the least amount of fuel to get you home in the last stint. Depends on when they do throw that random yellow though. The randomiser is always a good one for throwing a bit of a spanner in the works, especially as a driver. And I know I love throwing them on a Saturday night when people least expect them. So it's it's good. I like the idea of the random yellow with the Indycar. It just throws up another another strategy call within the racing. Do you pit early and hope to beat it by a lap, or do you just do what everybody else does and hang on and pit with everybody?
And that's the thing, isn't it, Nick? I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to keep these guys on their toes somehow, and that's the only way, technically, really, to do it, is to just give them the idea that they've got a game plan in mind, and then completely stuff it up for them.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's all good and well being the fastest car on track, and for a sprint race, fun and games, but I call this a thinking man's race. Not only have you got to be the fastest car, or one of the fastest cars on track, you've got to cover the distance in the fastest time. You've got to think about, I've got to use both compounds of tyres, I've got to look after my fuel, look after my car, and then after all that, there's a safety car procedure as well. So, thinking man's race.
Indeed.
And presidential preferences, apparently, if you ask Greg Heaney.
Correct. Correct.
Get a little bit cheeky in the chat. There he is.
It was very nicely done by you last night, actually, Joe, using presidential privilege, I thought.
When you got to get out of bed at 1:30 in the morning, it's, you kind of got to throw the weight around a little bit if you get the chance.
Yeah.
But no,
side by side down the Camel Straight, and Aaron Bryan trying to get down on the inside. Being passed by Sam Stride was Daniel Yeaman. So straight up to 15th, and that was Wayne Visser going down on the inside of Aaron Bryan. I'm seeing all sorts of manoeuvring happening on the totem pole at the moment. And have a look at this. Bryan's about to lose another position here, down to 14th now, as Liam Haycock comes back through after his second stop. So there's all sorts of action happening here at the moment. Battle packs left, right, and centre, just the way we like it.
I think the leaders they're coming towards the end of the lap now. I'm going to say they're going to be in on the towards the end of this lap, as we see these three going at it. Wayne Visser, Liam Haycock, and Aaron Bryan.
And they're in.
And right on cue.
You called it.
So it looks like the leaders are doing 6 laps, and Aussie Races and who was it? Fred Kahn, they were doing 7 laps. So this could start spreading the strategy now, because this is lap 13 now. They might pit on lap 15. A whole heap have just come into pit lane, and Adam Lavis and Paul Wood are going to continue on through.
And
It's all teammates.
The business table in as well. Good thing there's no such thing as double stacking in iRacing.
No.
Wow! I just looking at the tables. Actually, Austin have rejoined in front of Adam Lavis and Paul Wood.
And Fred Kahn missed his box there, had to back up. Which platforms are you guys streaming on these days? Yes, hello Brad, nice to have you on board, mate. We're on Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. I think it's Facebook and YouTube tonight through Trucker. When Adam Lavis is producing on a Monday night, it is all three platforms.
Is that Brad Klink, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, hello Brad. Yeah, he's that's a face we haven't seen for a while, mate. You hopefully you're still iRacing, and we might get a chance to have you back one day. It was always good racing, Brad. He was, I think from memory, he was very competitive in GT4s.
Joe, if you wouldn't mind, have you got a little tab there that can show us off tracks? Because I'm watching the off tracks on the live timing, and it's going nuts.
It's lighting up Christmas trees, yes.
Yeah, off tracks. There probably is, but I'm not smart enough to find it. Give me a minute. I'll see what I can find.
Take your time.
Here we go.
Adam Lavis and Paul Wood will be pitting at the end of this lap too.
So,
Blunt and brutal honesty from Joe Baldwin. That can't be right, Nick. I think the off-track...
I was going to say, Chris Neville will have a penalty by now.
Yeah.
I think what you'll find is that's combining practice penalties.
Oh wow! Okay.
And race penalties. So it's probably not a fair indication.
Well, Adam Lavis is still on a donut, so looks like he's getting a bonus tonight.
That does not surprise me with Adam Lavis. He's a very cool, calm, clean operator at the best of times. I fancy this, right? The eve of one of the biggest sporting events, in the world, and I had friends of mine message and say, much on for the weekend, lads? And I said, not much on. There's a school sports carnival in Paris that I'm going to keep.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
There's that too, yeah.
Yeah, correct. So
it's already started, hasn't it? The girls are playing this morning.
Yeah, the girls played this morning. The boys rugby sevens into a semi-final tomorrow night, of course.
That's right, yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, they played Wednesday night and Thursday night. So yeah, no less than 4 Olympic sports have already got underway as far as competition is concerned. Handball and archery, the other two. And here's Cody Deep. He's come back charged from 17th on the grid up to 6th, and he's all over the back of Aiden Luthwaite.
2 years, Brad saying he hasn't raced, so I think it's about time you dust the sim off, mate. Yeah, come back and have a crack. We've certainly grown since you were with us last time. Always welcome.
Yep. And that's the thing, isn't it, Joe? I mean, and Nick can attest to this as well. How proud we all are to play our part here on a Monday or a Thursday or a Friday night this season. The way in which the club has gone from strength to strength and has somewhat found a happy medium somewhere in between 400 and 500 members, and it's been that way for the longest time now. Sim racing just continues to go from strength to strength to strength, and the GSRC rightly holds its place as one of, if not the biggest sim racing league in this country.
Yeah, certainly. Look, I can remember when I first got involved on the committee level, which would probably be 3 years ago now. I sort of said to them at the time, I'm like, how big do we really want to get? Like, how many members? Do we have a cap? And they were like, no, we'll keep going. I think we're at about 250 at the time. And I think we've had about 750 individual members come through the club at this point in time, and we're currently, I think, just over or right around the big move on the outside here. Fred Kahn and...
Enormous move.
Yeah, well done. Great racing, boys. Well done, Stridey. Now you're driving. Still hasn't got it done, though.
Back on the inside.
Yes, he has.
Can't yield. Can't relinquishes. Is that a little bit of gamesmanship to use a bit of push to pass down the Kemmel Straight? I don't know. Pit stops continuing. Out onto the racetrack comes Dave Oliver and Liam Haycock.
Bit of draft there, I think. He's probably keen to use it. Here we go.
2 retirements thus far as well. Not sure what happened to Scott Jordanson, but we know he's out of the race now. Where this lap here, boys, gets to half race distance as well.
Yeah, so as I was saying, like, at the moment we're right around the, I think, 500 paid member mark. And look, it's far surpassed where I ever thought at the club's inception. There's no way I would have thought we'd have gone to the level we are now, and it's like there's a lot of guys in the background that put in tremendous amount of hours. I mean, everybody involved in the club knows how much hard work this man here, Adam Maverick, what he puts into the club. It's just immeasurable. It's a true passion of his, and the club would honestly be lost without him. So just a quick pat on the back for him. Nick's been around from day one. Matto, there's just so many guys that have stepped up and taken the club from strength to strength. And I'm just a small part of the cog in the wheel. It's and yourself, Zach, you've been along for the ride. I think we had about 180 members, I think, when we got you on board. Yep. And you look at where we are now, it's certainly something I think we can all be proud of. And where it's going to end up, I don't know. We're just rolling with the punches. And as you said, sim racing's just gone from strength to strength. There's not many good things that came out of COVID times that was good, but I think the club is actually one of them.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Thank you, Andrew Neal. Much appreciated.
Safety car boards and flags. There's your competition caution, ladies and gentlemen. Safety car boards and flags. Have a look at this. Yes. Oh boy. So Ashley will lead them under caution. Chris Noble, Aidan Luthwaite, David Baz, Jackson Dial, Adam Lavis, Paul Wood, Sam Stride, Cody Deef. The top 9, and Fred Carr makes up the top 10. This changes everything because, let's be honest, it's lap 16 of 30, and based on what we've seen thus far, Joe, I'm not sure they can one-stop it from here. So that begs the question, is there any merit in jumping in now and topping up under safety car or not? I still think they're going to have to two-stop it from here.
If you have a look at what lap, like the key thing is how many laps ago did you pit? That's you look at the numbers there. Lap 12,
Cody
lap 14.
Just stopped when the safety car was deployed.
Yeah, so if you're Adam Maverick, Paul Wood, Deeth, Dave Oliver, Lem Haycock, or Matt Schmidtke, I wouldn't pit. And Zamora and Brian have pitted on lap 15 as well. But those guys, I wouldn't pit. I think that there's... obviously you watch what the leaders do, but they've only pitted a lap ago. They're not going to be any faster or really gain anything by putting a lap worth of fuel in. It's only going to equal about, 3 litres, probably 4 litres a lap. Nick, what would that probably be about? Maybe a second in pit time? But you'll lose more than that by being stuck behind cars that...
Nick's not in the booth at the moment.
Nick's not in the booth. Okay, cool.
No,
so it's
downstairs.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like if the leaders pit, like they've got 4 laps out, it's probably in their best interest to pit, because what it'll do, they've had the pace all night. So Lear and Noble, Luthwaite and Baz, they've all been, really, really fast. Dial's come through the pack. All those guys, I'd pit if I was him, because you've got 5 laps of fuel out by the time it goes green. That's too much of a handicap if you don't pit and try and get to the window where you do have to pit, sort of thing. The time penalty sitting in the pit bay is 3 laps worth of fuel worse off than the guys that have just pitted. So it's one of those hard ones. If I pitted on lap 12, you got to pit now. The guys that pitted later, there's no way I'd pit. I'd say, and saying that, Deeth's gone to the pits. He's on his way out now, so he decided to duck in. I can actually go.
And it seems like as well, Joe, as the lights flash and light up here on the safety car, it seems like, hang on, here we go. Safety car Shane Newlands is on pit lane at the moment. There we go. That's what you're seeing there. Yeah, It's no one in the actual race.
No
It's
one in
our
the
race
race,
control
no.
operator. There we go. Lighting up on pit lane at the moment. He'll stay there too. But no. What we should point out is the field makes it all right as they make their way round onto the main straight. Here come the leaders now. So everybody looks like they're going to jump in here, with the exception of maybe. I don't think there's any benefit in Cody Death coming in right now.
No.
Considering he just stopped and.
He's just pitted, but he'd be around the back, so it'll be interesting.
Oh, hang on. Actually, no. Hang on. Cody Death is not even showing up on my timing screen at the moment. He's dropped down to 20th. Oh, geez. Has he had a packet loss issue?
Oh, I'm not sure. No, he went through the pits. He must have done. He's not in the server.
Wow. Everybody else has come in that time around, with the exception of Jack Humphries, Liam Haycock, Eduardo Zamora. Everybody else has just stopped. Aaron Bryan's the exception to the rule. He's come out in 11th. He stopped on like 15.
Accidentally booted.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
If that's happened, that's terrible luck for Death.
Yeah.
We've got some new race control guys in, and some of the controls are actually quite tricky and they're quite small. There's obviously been a mistaken click if that's the case.
Nick's just here right now. You might be able to explain what's going on.
So I watched it as it happened. Cody came into the pits as soon as the safety car got called, and I'm like, he's going to get a penalty, guys. And we don't clear black flags here at GSRC.
Yep.
And he called it in, and the boys were about to send him a private message saying, unfortunately, we don't clear it, and they clicked the wrong thing, as Joe was just explaining, which has happened. Joe's done it. I've done it. It's not a good feeling because it's such a simple thing, and because the writing's so small, not to make excuses, it's happened now, but biggest apologies to Cody because he was on fire.
He was a real genuine race contender. I mean, the drive-through would have ruined it for him. He would have had to have come back to the back of the train anyway. Wow. Okay. That's a
because I've got that explicitly written in my rules that black flags will not be cleared. So
that's right. Correct.
You've got to read your screen because it tells you all the information there that the pits are closed.
Yep. Especially once the caution is thrown, and I must admit, because I was watching Joe do or listening to Joe do the spiel at the time, I didn't actually see the moment that the yellow flag was deployed, but I did see that Cody Death was on pit lane when it was. Oh dear.
We've had a bit of a spice up here as well.
That really shakes things up because we've got a mix of different strategies at play now, Nick.
Yeah, so the leaders, where did they come out?
So Ashley are in third, Chris Noble and Ron Aiden Lute late. So Leah and Noble are third and fourth. Jack Humphries is the race leader, but see, here's the thing. He stopped on lap 13. Can he technically one-stop it from there, Nick? It'd be a Herculean sort of effort if he did, I would have thought.
You're going to have to save a lot of fuel, and strictly speaking, 1 lap behind safety car is roughly 2 laps on the track. So, in terms of fuel usage, so you could essentially save 1 lap now.
Yeah.
But so where did those leaders pop out? 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Eduardo Zamora's just passed Ashley. So I think that was right because Zamora didn't stop that time round. He stopped on lap 15. So whether Zamora got in before the safety car was deployed or not, that's the next question.
Look, I think the only thing that's going to be Lear or Noble is going to be their strategy now because they've got the pace. They're sitting in 4th and 5th. It's going to be hard to stop them from there. As we know, my teammates like to play the long game, and I actually want to jump in their Discord and say, guys, you got to go flat out from here because you're not going to make it. But yes, Jack Humphries, Liam Haycock, and Vito Zamora are going to throw some doubt amongst all this. So we'll see how we go here from the Skycam, brought to you by Waste Options. Safety car in.
Set to go again. The first round restart we expect tonight at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. Let's get back to work. And right there, Aaron Bryan giving way. Aaron Bryan has just been swamped. He drops down to 13th spot. As we make our way through turn 1, Jack Humphries is the leader, Liam Haycock is second. So Haycock's all of a sudden a real chance here as well. If he can get home on just one more stop, we're right on board with Ashley. Push to pass will be on.
Push to pass going.
Yep, here we go. How many push to passes have they got now? How many push to passes? Whoa, look at that. Haycock on Humphries at the end of the Camel Straight. Got the job done. Lee got by Zamora. What's the limit on push to pass? So I'm sure you've put a restriction in there, 10. So
it's 10, unfortunately.
These guys have still got a bit up their sleeve.
Unfortunately, iRacing, when they brought it out, they didn't do a time limit. They brought a number limit. So unfortunately, there's only 10 push to passes.
Copy that.
But
all good.
Second half of the race, there's another gap. So there's two trains here already. There's already a gap to David Baz. So something's going on there. David Baz has got a whole bunch of people behind him.
Yeah. So yeah, as you say, there are 2 trains at the moment, and Baz is trying to get by on the inside. Oh, sorry, trying to defend Jackson Dial. The next car ahead of him is Aiden Luthwaite. So Baz is holding up that next train. The off-track alerts are lighting up like a Christmas tree at the moment. Yeah. They're on the ragged edge here on a Friday night, ladies and gentlemen.
Haycock's on the bottom now, and he's only got 4 to go. So, with 12 laps in hand, he's got to start spreading those out. He's up 6 spots. Yeah. Humphries up 17 spots.
He's going to have to defend really well on the run home. We're going to ride on board with Liam Haycock coming right onto the main straight. Look at that train of cars. Humphries, Liam, Noble, Gamora and Luthwaite.
Into La Source. Let's see if anybody has a look.
Oh, hang on. David Baz has dropped down to 11th as well, boys. He's been passed. Zamora's dropped down to 6th. Lavis has gone up to 7th. Carnwood's dropped out. And David Baz has now dropped down to 12th spot in behind Dave Oliver.
I'm going to say something happened at the bus stop.
Always the bus stop. Always.
Here we go. The run. Jack Humphries.
Humphries on Haycock. They resume their duel. Humphries up the outside. Brad, it's just in the car on a Friday night, mate. No entree. This is all 3 servings in one. Entree, main course, and dessert, and it's all over in about an hour and a half. It's a good little appetizer to the big weekend.
There you go, sprayed and replay. David Baz here.
A bite-size offering of the GSRC, you could say. Oh, look, yeah, see, this is the other problem as well. Because iRacing recently redefined the track limits here, the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, I don't know if it's linking up nicely with SGK. I think SGK might be getting some of the old off-track alerts.
Yeah, so there's going to be an accident down here at the bus stop, no doubt.
The bus stop will definitely be David Baz running into trouble. Oh.
Net code as well.
Net code and locked it up. Yep. Yep. Have a look at it. Image net code. You can see there was a wheel width between them. Yeah. They did well. They got away with it. They did well. Half-time in the Rd-3, by the way, boys. Melbourne 12-8 with a kick to come here from the sideline. Going for it, got it. 14-8. Melbourne lead Parramatta half-time Friday night football. I'll update you on the AFL very shortly. 17 minutes away from time. It's an hour and 5 minutes. So 11 laps or 22 minutes, whichever comes first. I think we're going to be okay to just squeeze this one in on time tonight. And Liam Haycock's been relegated to third by the hard-charging Ash Lear.
Haycock's got I think a lot of bit of oversteer in that car. He's sideways going into the bus stop, sideways coming out. Same to the hairpin. So we'll see on the next tyre change if he takes, what tyres he takes. But yeah, he's dropped back, and that gives Jack Humphries just a bit of a buffer, 6/10, but it's not much, but it's something. Yeah, you can see there, oversteer again, and he's going to get passed down here. Yep, there he goes. So he might be towards the end of those tyres.
Oh, he's
getting very
squirmy. He's overdriving it. Luthwaite's underneath the back of that car, so he'll get a bit of draft. And it's just absolutely struggling for Haycock at the moment.
Yeah. It's all falling apart for him, unfortunately. It had been such a good, promising charge for him, but it could also be a case of he's begging begging for a fresh set of rubber, and he might get that at the next pit stop. And if he doesn't, it's going to be a very long run home. 10 laps to go next time by the line. Humphries leads the lead, margin 1.09 seconds. Sam Strider's in 10th spot. Oh, Yeaman and Visser. Yeaman and Visser have dropped down the order. Yeaman's down to a...
Noble's on the button.
16th.
Oh.
And there is Wayne Visser on pit road. Oh, something's happened to Wayne Visser. So Visser and Yeaman have had a moment. Yeaman's dropped down to 17th. There was contact between the two. Going through turn...
Ran over each other.
14.
That's called a Wambulance moment, that one.
Jack Humphries in.
Okay, interesting. Oh, I don't think he can get 10 laps out of the last stint. I'd be very surprised if he could get 20 minutes out of the stint. So that could be Jack Humphries' game over, and it's just falling nicely back into the lap of Liam Noble. They've only got to get to lap 23. If they can get to the end of lap 23, 3 more laps, and then top it up, they should get home. And that will work out nicely for them.
Good battle back in the mid-pack here. We've got Dave Oliver's on the button, Sam Stride's on the button, and Dial's in the middle. Stride just got by Woodsy.
Adam Lavis in 7th as well, trying to get by Fred Carr, not close enough. Paul Wood trying to get by. Sam Stride can't do it. Jackson Dial fending off Dave Oliver. 6 cars, line astern at the moment. Eduardo Zamora's, out there all on his lonesome at the moment. Yeah. He's between the 2 battle packs. He's between the battle for 1st through 4th and the battle 6th through 10th, or 11th.
5 off the lead. 5 seconds off the lead to Zamora, and then 8 seconds to Fred Kahn, and then you got Adam Lavis right behind him.
So he's literally just piggy in the middle, sat there, all on his lonesome. No one to contend with at the moment, but that could be a very peaceful and quiet place to be for him. It could work into his favour, the fact that he won't have anyone trying to, muscle him out of position.
Well, his last lap, I'm just looking at the lap times, his last lap was a 2-minute flat. The guys behind him are doing 1:59s, the guys in front of him are doing 1:58s and 59s, so he might fall back still. We'll see what happens.
It could. Oh dear. Let's have a look at this. At 13
on the button.
Braithwaite has got by Haycock because Haycock's come to pit lane, so he could be out of contention here as well. He'd have to get 9 laps out of his final stint. I just don't see it happening.
He's going to have to get tyres. He has to.
Oh, without doubt.
That thing is, if he goes to the Reds, they're only going to last 6 or 7 laps anyway, and he's got 10 laps to do.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, 8 laps to do.
9. 9, in fact.
I remember saying earlier on, you've got to engineer the race back to front once you get to the middle. And unfortunately, that sort of tripped him up a little bit. He's probably, maybe he'll fall 1 lap short. And,
Maybe getting the second lap of the caution would have been the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nick knows as well as me, with these Indy cars, where you can actually run into trouble with your fuel, like if you look at the likes of Adam Maverick and Aaron Bryan, they haven't used their push-to-passes. Matt Schmidtke's only used 1. Now, all their fuel numbers are basically going to be set off of not using the push-to-pass. But if you fuel your car to the end of the race with such a small margin to make it, and you start using your push-to-pass, you ain't going to make it home because it burns an extra couple 300 mil, I think, every time you push it.
Yes.
You know, so that's another thing you've got to, if you want to use like somebody like Adam who want to pit as late as he can to fill it up, so he's got that extra fuel in hand to be able to do the most damage with his push passes without the threat of running out of fuel.
Oh, Joe, as you know, it's for everybody. It's candy. Extra 50 horsepower. I'll take that, thanks.
If only it was free. If only it was free.
If only it was free. People don't think about the other end where you got to use the fuel.
Yeah, that's right. Baz has got he's got a bit of a fight back here. He's up behind Schmidtke and Aaron Bryan, so he's trying to fight his way back after that little bit of contact there about 4 laps back.
Leithwaite, Zamora and Nommensen are in.
Here they come, and pit lane a hub of activity right now. And just
here they come.
by the by, whilst
Still
we're
becoming
watching the
close.
plane, it will be, because they're going to have to get 8 laps out of this tank from here. 8 laps to home. Ruthwaite's on his way. Gets out well ahead of Zamora and Brian. Zamora's in the pit lane 13.6, so that'll be a tyre stop. And Brian 7.62. As they make great inroads on Zamora there. There's Kurt Novenson still
Minute 40, I think he might have just about had enough.
Yeah, I think so. And has to get by. Trying to get by Schmidt. Couldn't do it. It's 5 here. And NRL is 15-49. Carlton leading Port Adelaide at the moment in the AFL. Just to appease our AFL audience as well. We're not just all about the NRL here on the platform for Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club.
It's good to see Matt Schmidtke, considering the end of lap 1, getting flown over like Grosjean, to then be back into 9th position now and still on the lead lap.
Yep, and doing a great job. Oh, Chris Noble's only 0.7 second away from Ashley now as well, boys. Fred Kahn backing up Adam Laver, Sam Stride and Jackson Dial. Paul Wood's got Dave Oliver for company. Matt Schmidtke got David Baz for company. 1, 2, 3, 4 active battles inside the top 10 at the moment.
You can see there on the little graphic there, pit stop length. The guys to go the longest here is, what do we got?
Mav with 7, Oliver with 7.
Yeah, 7 laps.
Lear and Noble are in. Lear and Noble are in, and I dare say anyone else that stopped on lap 16 will follow. Oh. No, Lavis is going to get 8. Lavis is going to go an extra lap.
He's never done that
Lavis
before.
will get 8 out of the tank. So will his teammate Paul Wood. The Aussie racer boys are going to lead it to lap 24.
I think this might actually play in exactly what I was saying a minute ago, guys, where Mav will save fuel, get that extra lap. He's got 10 push to passes. He will need that extra lap's worth of fuel to utilise those 10 push to passes to get him home. So look for Mav to come home nice and strong here at the end of the race.
Oh, there he is. Schmidtke just lighting it up, coming off pit road. Noble's come back out in 6th spot behind Luthwaite. Noble's behind Luthwaite. Luthwaite needs to get 8 laps out of this tank. And Noble's good to go to the checkered flag full tilt. Lavis and Wood are going to get 8 out of theirs as well. They only need to get 6 for the run home. Chris Noble running 6th at the moment. Had a good run last night in the LMP2. Victorious, of course. Oh, cutting it fine there, flirting with the limits.
That would have been an off track, absolutely no doubt about it. It's the slowdowns you got to be careful of here. They, it's like Mario Kart trying to find all the things in the hidden blocks, and Spa will jump out and give you a slowdown when you least expect it. What there'd be
like
another,
that.
God, that's another off track.
It's a big one.
And he's certainly pushing, that's for sure.
Motegi, of course, was the venue last night for LMP2. Spa put on a cracker of a show for the Porsche Cup, and he's doing so again for Indycar. And it begs the question, we say it all the time, geez, it'd be nice to see Indycar have a couple of international rounds per year beyond North America, beyond the United States and Canada. It would be lovely. And I reckon Spa would be a perfect venue for them.
I think Dan Yeaman, he'll be ruining the contact he had earlier on in the race.
Yes.
He was right up the front. I think he qualified 3rd from memory. So, it's very narrow there. No, it got through clean. It's a bit of a baptism of fire, I think, for Dan. But he's been around a long time. He's a very smart racer, and he'll be back. Don't worry, I'm sure we got a over race next week, and I don't know how much over racing he's done. I think I've seen one where he's in the supercar and he did really well. So it'll be interesting to see. New members to the club are always welcome, and especially you got somebody the stature of Dan. It's great to see him join the club.
Adam Lavis and Paul Wood just pitted. They've come out in 9th and 11th. Well, we got 6 to the end.
And Mav has used push to pass.
Finally.
Finally.
He'll have a good run with it in the last 5 laps as well. Sam Stripe, the next target for him. Then Fred Kahn just beyond that. Then Jackson Dial. Watch Lavis to charge home here. 1:58.072, his fastest lap of the night. There have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 drivers beyond or lower than the 1:58 marker. In the 1:57s or the 1:56s.
Adam's got 35 kilometres to move up some spots here. He's currently sitting in 9th. He used 1 push to pass. But the current leader is Jake Humphries, who's up 18 spots.
The swarm, though, the swarm. They're on his tail. And I think he must have another pit to go. He stopped on lap 20, so he'll...
Beat this lap or the next.
In this, the next lap or so.
Oh. He might lose the lead before the end of this next lap, though.
Probably...
Actually, leads on him.
Probably would have gone and got out of the way, to be honest. I think you were going to find the moves on here, so we might jump on board.
Here we go. Ashley.
Thank you to Sprayton.
On board. Jack Humphries, we're not certain that he can get home on that tank. We think he needs to stop. Lear and Luthwaite working. So too Noble. Luthwaite's wedged himself in there nicely between Lear and Noble. This is a juicy fight for first, second and third on the run to the checkered flag, but at the moment it's a racing for Jack Humphries. The sitting duck here. We know that he's got to come to the lane. It's a matter of how long these guys are happy to sit behind him before they pull the trigger. Or before he yields and relents. How good. Oh, big lock up from Humphries. Lear's right there now.
Actually, Lear, you mentioned this before, Zach. He's done a 56.9 fastest lap of the race. He just did a 58.5. I think he's just happy to sit because he knows that Humphries here has got a pit and then he'll be in the lead. He's just got to hold the guys behind him back.
And the problem that Aidan Luthwaite's got is he's running on the alternate tyres or the alternate rubber on the way to the checkered flag, whereas the primary rubber, Lear, Noble, Haycock, that's what they're all running at the moment. You know the alternates don't have as much poke in them or as much durability, length in them as the primary. Oh boy, it's all happening here. Luthwaite's got Noble for company. Luthwaite's got Noble for company. 1.4 the margin, so that's the next thing you've got to be worried about. And have a look at this. Have a look at this. Jackson Dial around the outside.
Oh, guys, turning it on. This is fantastic.
Inside for the bus stop.
Luthwaite, my apologies. Lear's got by Humphries. Humphries comes to pit lane. Luthwaite's got by Noble to keep Noble at bay just a little bit longer.
Fantastic racing, guys. So Luthwaite and Noble, I hope them guys take a bow at the end of it just for that sequence of corners on their own. That was fantastic stuff.
It's been relatively clean, Nick.
Have a look at this guy here. Have a look at this guy.
There he is, running P5.
He's not in 9th anymore.
As if we weren't expecting this. As if we weren't expecting this. There he is, up into position number 5 and on the button again for push to pass.
And
checking out
there back at the trainees on push to pass as well.
Yep, so too are Fred Kahn and Jackson Dial, it would seem. Wood couldn't get by. Dial and Kahn right there, 6th and 7th. So again, Aussie racers flank the Whiskey Business Racing stable. 2 of each in this battle pack. And Sam Stride hanging on for dear life in 9th.
More off tracks from Noble and Leafway. They got to be getting close now.
Luthwaite and Noble still going at it, boys. Noble's been relegated again. Luthwaite hanging on for dear life here in 2nd. Up 7 spots on where he started. Has Noble at bay for the moment.
The red tyres are going to be getting tight.
4 push to pass to use, and Noble's only got 2, boys.
Red tyres must be getting pretty tired now too.
They'd have to be.
Coming to the back end of the race. Thank you to Waste Options for the Skycam.
Big thanks to all our sponsors for their ongoing input on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We'll get a shout out for them away towards the end of the broadcast, of course. We're in the closing stages here, folks. 3 to go. Lee's going to bring it back to the line. You've timed this just about. Oh, no!
Oh, no.
Round.
I think
Someone's gone round and
Kurt
Luke
Nominson, maybe?
Loose weight to pit lane. Haycock to pit lane. And it was Kurt Nominson well picked up, Joe. Lear and Noble continue on. Lavis will go to third. Loose weight and Haycock have had to come to pit lane. They've had to pull the trigger, then bite the bullet and come to pit lane and put themselves out of contention. So too is Brett Kahn. Adam Lavis is third.
Hello.
Have a look at this. And all of a sudden, there's three different teams represented in the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. The Wood and Stride. Dave Oliver's up 13th spot. He just
Wood's on the prowl.
The move's on.
Got him. Wood to 4th. Halfway down the Capital Straight. Humphreys and Luthwaite are all over Schmidtke like a cheap suit as well in the battle for 8th. Schmidtke's been relegated at the back of your screen there.
Schmidtke
3 wide they are. 8th, 9th, and 10th. Humphreys. Luthwaite forces the issue. Goes to 8th. Schmidtke loses 2 spots in the space of the Camel Straight. That was brilliant from Aiden Luthwaite. Forceful but clean. And really, Nick, it has been a clean race.
It's been relatively clean. I think there's only been really 2-3 incidents. But yeah, it's been really good so far. Plus, massive track. Everybody gets to spread out, and it's nice and fast.
I think you need to be commended on your timing as well, mate, because this is going to finish pretty much bang on that 65-minute limit. So you've done well.
The guy in third place helped me calculate that. So
one more lap under caution, you would have been screwed, but that's another story.
Yeah, well, we had to take that into account because a caution lap around here, I don't know if we got the stats on it. I think it's close to 5 minutes. That's really long. So we try and keep it tight. Run a tight ship. There wasn't anybody a lap down when I went to go check in on the boys in race control, so it made it really easy for everybody.
Indeed. Rightio. We continue on here. We're riding with Jackson Dial. All over the back of Paul Wood like a cheap suit. 2 laps to go. Oh, Ash Lear's come to pit lane. Ash Lear is on pit lane.
Wow.
Adam Lavis will go to second now.
I told you Chris Noble was saving. He was happy to save and sit behind in that draft. I reckon Chris has got this one in the bag because he was sitting there and not going for a pass. And then I was wondering why he wasn't closing in on the car in front in that tow, and he must have been pedaling it.
Adam Lavis goes to second. How sweet it is. Rightio. Watch the arm on Wood. Watch Stride as well. Can Stride get the tow?
Oh, Jack's in a big hurry. He doesn't want to wait.
Humphreys up the outside. Gets by Luthwaite. Big lunge from Lear, but couldn't get close enough to Luthwaite for the moment. Wow, this race has just been turned on its... Oh, no!
Who's that?
Who is... Oh, Stop!
Oh!
Luthwaite and Humphreys have come together with 10. Can you believe this motor race?
You couldn't have said anything, Zach.
I know. That is ridiculous. What the hell was that? Jack Humphreys, have a look at this. It was Luthwaite.
Oh, he got
That
the
got
bump
into
from
the side of
behind.
him. And he did well to try and catch it, but was not able to. And that has changed everything. Dave Oliver's up to 6th. Humphreys, Lear, Schmidtke, that was the moment.
Just got him too.
Just in too high.
Too quick in.
I think that was
And
Kurt
all 5
Nominson
cars
they
got
were trying to
damaged.
take evasive action on too.
Yeah.
I think
All 5
that was
cars
Kurt
got hit
Nominson.
somewhere.
They were
Yeah.
trying to lap. That's all it was. They were trying to lap Nominson. Closing stages at Spa. Can you believe the carnage here?
Oh, another one
On the pit line. Oh, Jackson Dial.
Dial.
Dial's online. Wow. Dial falls a lap short.
White flags out, guys. White flags out.
Yep, Barney's waving it from the grandstand, not the actual start-finish marshal point. He's
There
waving
he
it
is.
from the
Yeah,
grandstand.
can't even see
I mean,
him.
just fair. There he is. There's the
There he
flag.
There's a fit between the track too.
Just,
No.
you know, pick a random spot and put your most important marshal there, iRacing. Well done. Fantastic.
Adam Davis is closing Chris Noble down.
Aiden
Yeah,
Luthwaite on pit
2.7.
lane. Kurt Nominson on pit lane. Matt Schmidtke on pit lane. And that will just about do it.
Well, Adam Davis is closing
Damon.
Noble down.
He's in third.
Yeah, and Daniel Yeaman, just by the by, fastest lap of the race, 156.485. 156.485 for Yeaman, fastest lap of the race.
Watch this. Chris Noble is now down to 2 seconds to Adam Lavis. And Paul Wood's closing them down as well. So he could be... He could be playing a bit of a
cat and mouse here.
Cat and mouse game and just leaving it for the final straight back up to the bus stop. But yeah, Adam. I saw Adam's again on the push to pass again. 1.5 seconds.
1.4, 1.3. Keep an eye out. Chris Noble trying to get to the checkered flag. It's the end of a 7-lap stint for him, a 6-lap stint for Lavis. He can now see Lavis in his rearview mirror. 1.2 seconds with 1 sector to go.
Breathe,
We're
Adam,
going
breathe.
to hit the 1 hour 5 minute mark as they make their way to the flag. Noble, Lavis, Wood, Stride, Oliver up in the fifth. What a
8 tenths.
mighty run from Dave. Humphreys,
7
Will
tenths.
Aycock.
Oh, look at this! Look at this!
This is going to be a big run from Lavis. He's come from out of the club. Lavis on the outside to the bus stop. And he's Chris Noble gets him back on the final corner. And Noble will survive. No, he won't. Lavis wins it.
He ran out of fuel!
What the hell was that?
Wow.
Lavis had it, then threw it away. Then Noble runs out of juice, and Lavis still finds a way to survive.
Jackson, no. Adam Lavis just won, mate. Noble run out of fuel. That was one of the wildest finishes. Crazy
We
stuff.
have ever seen.
Crazy
One
stuff.
of the craziest finishes we've ever seen. Sam Stride's got a busted front wing at the start-finish line. There are cars pulling up everywhere. And Adam Lavis with an almighty final lap has stolen it from Chris Noble.
I'll tell you what, let's just go back
What
and we've
the
got to
hell?
have another look. Come
We
on,
do
come on.
indeed.
Do it.
Wow.
There we go,
That's just extraordinary. Have a look at this. Now, this was... So it was Adams to lose because Noble was coughing and spluttering it there.
So
Then
Adam's
Lavis has understeered big time and lost it. Noble's come back onto the main straight. Cough, splutter.
cough,
and gone.
Have a look at how much he missed it by. He was about 2 metres from the line when...
Oh,
so
boy.
Just have a look at this. Hang on, sorry to do this to you people. We'll jump back
You're
on
right.
board.
Yep.
There
So
he goes.
Noble.
Look for the line. Stumble.
Oh.
There's a line and there's Mav. Oh.
Is it just me or did it look like Noble was struggling to pluck it out of first as well?
He
Did
would
it
have been
look like-
because it would have been stumbling. So as soon as the motor stumbles, it won't change up if the gearbox is loaded up in the wrong direction. So he probably would have pulled the paddle and the motor just wouldn't change gears. That's all. But my God, that is a finish for the ages. Absolutely incredible. Not only congratulations to Mav, but to Noble, Woodsy, Ash Lear, Liam Haycock drove a great race. God, there was just so many guys there that were probably just more deserving of a better result than they got. But wow, that was insane. Awesome stuff.
Take a breath, Australia. Holy hell. I don't mind saying this because everyone will understand where I'm coming from, between West Bremer radio duties, ground announcing duties, normally 2 nights a week here. I was wondering whether I was doing the right thing by jumping back in for a third night, and that right there just proves exactly why I said yes. Right there, that is some of the best you'll ever see. Extraordinary stuff. Kurt Nelmanson's here, Liam Haycock's here, the public spokesperson for Whiskey Business Racing, Greg Heaney, is in the house as well. We'll get to our post-race show in just a moment. If you can ever believe what you've just seen, holy moly, that's as good as it gets. Let's have a look at positions gained and lost in all of that as well. And let's also admire that at the end there were some pit stops that we probably weren't expecting. So Ash Lear's pit stop on lap 28, that was not expected. Jack Humphries we knew was going to have to come in at the end of lap 26. He did that. Liam Haycock at the end of lap 27. We'll get him to explain that in just a moment. That was pit stop number 5. Jackson Dial at the end there. I'm not sure what the hell happened. The winning margin was 0.328 of a second. Paul Wood was only 4 tenths further back. A 5th pit stop for Daniel Yeaman. We know that he got caught up in early damage. One of Dial's pit stops will be Jackson Rayhana's in NZ at the moment. There we go. Excellent. And hope you enjoy the snow and everything on offer over there too, Jacko. We know that Jackson Dial started from pit lane, so that will be one of his pit stops. But we know he stopped on lap 29. Eduardo Zamora stopped late in the piece. So Matt Schmidtke stopped a lap from home. He got caught up in that incident involving Aidan Luthwaite and co. Kurt Nomanson, he had a night to forget, but he's still here nonetheless to have a chat about it. Cody Deeth, we know what happened to him. Stories left, right and centre.
Commiserations to Cody Deeth. Sorry, mate. Look, I wasn't a part of what happened, but
that wasn't a intentional slip at the time either.
It absolutely was. I see what you did there, Zach. Cody Deeth had a death. Oh, good on you. No.
I'll jump in there, Joe. That was all me, mate. I do apologise to Cody.
There you go.
That was all me. I meant to send him a private message, but I accidentally clicked the wrong thing, so it was all me. So I have sent a message through Discord to him.
So that is to Tim Watson, care of GSRC.inc.
Exactly. Just while we have got you, Watto, we've got Nick Fodiatis and Paul Wood back with us as well. A relatively quiet night from race control. That really was the main incident, but were there any others that caught your eye?
No, there were a couple more instances there. Some very were unavoidable.
Yeah.
And some that were avoidable, but had Shane in there for his first night in there for doing race control. He was the one that gave out the penalties. I was there to try and help him on seeing instances in different ways, which I've been helped with other members of the club in the last few weeks. So
yeah,
it was all on Shane, most of it. I was just in there giving him a hand.
All right, very nicely done, and well done to Shane as well. Great to see people putting their hand up and throwing their hat into the ring to have a crack in race control. I don't envy them, especially on nights like this, Matt. That was carnage. That was chaotic towards the end there. Hard to keep a track of it all, really. Chris Noble, what might have been, it could have been 2 wins in as many nights for him to complement the LMP2 success of last night, but a cough, a hiccup, a splutter, and Adam Lavis reigns supreme. You'll hear from him shortly. He's just joined us in the booth here. Kurt Nomanson, Greg Heaney, Liam Haycock, Paul Wood as well. Greg, I'll start with you. Firstly, how were the after-work beverages? And secondly, your thoughts on your team's efforts tonight?
Well, the after-work beverages were great because work was paying for them, so
Excellent.
Can't complain there.
No, and that's always good.
And then managed to get back on the train, and you guys were just going on broadcast, so it was perfect viewing for the trip home. Yeah, very happy with the guys' performances tonight. I didn't quite catch the last handful of laps. I pretty much got in as you yourself, Zach, were calling Adam to the line. So I didn't quite catch the last bit, so I would only assume that Aidan finishing as far down as he did, he probably ran out of juice at the end or something. Unfortunate, because he was running a really good race from what I could see.
Oh, absolutely he was.
And yeah, well done to Fred and Jackson as well. I'm going to have to follow up with Jackson as to how and or why he took the option to start from pit road. But he was saying in our chat that the safety car caught him out, which screwed up his strategy. But it catches everybody out at the best of times. You could be halfway through a strategy and it could just throw your strategy out the window. So, but yeah, commiserations to the boys for not getting as far up the grid as they were hoping to in terms of end finishing. But yeah, well done for them to make it to the end and yeah, putting on a show for us. Depending on what's happening next Friday, you may see me on the grid too.
Indeed, indeed. And hopefully so, mate. I mean, I won't be here next Friday night, but I'll be here for the 6 that follow that. Although that being said, there's an outside chance that I'm off to see the Broncos and Storm at Suncorp in the weeks ahead, and I'm not sure whether it's a Thursday or a Friday night yet, so that will impact my presence here on one late night, week 9, I think it is. Anyway, nonetheless, great work from you, Greg, to jump on in and have a chat to us. Go back and enjoy the replay of that, because I think the last lap of that one will be on the highlight reel for a long while yet. And obviously very unfortunate for Aidan Luthwaite to get caught up there late in the piece, and he was on track for a top 10, and then that went by the wayside.
Yeah, I'll have a chat with him and make sure he's not too unhappy with himself and how it all unfolded. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be okay.
Yeah.
And no hard feelings there, Joe. I knew I had to throw it in there at some point on the way home on the train.
It's all right, mate. There's nothing wrong with getting thrown under the bus every now and then.
No. Everyone in here does it at the best of times. We know that. I'm actually just waiting for a comment from Chris Whitaker, actually, in the comment section, because he's the master of the trade, and Trent Lavis wouldn't be too far away either. Nick reckons I threw him under the bus earlier in the night talking about the red descending, but that was more just a general observation that we know from the years of watching everyone in this club. However, in saying that, Greg, thank you. Appreciate that, mate. Enjoy your weekend. Good luck with the Enduro on Sunday.
No worries. Cheers, boys. Thanks.
There he is, Greg Heaney. Kurt Nomenson, I'll go to you. Just thoughts on that, because unfortunately you had some damage early in the piece and you never really caught up.
Yeah, I was pretty good for 90% of the race. I just sort of messed up in my second last stint and put it in the fence and had to tow back to the pit lane because I couldn't drive it back. So put me down. I had a bit of a hairy moment with Dave Oliver on lap 3 going through Eau Rouge. So that was a bit of fun, but no, other than that, it was a pretty good night. And I had decent pace. I definitely could have been a lot better up if I didn't put it in the fence. So, yeah, things to look forward to when we go back to road racing next time.
Indeed. Those, of course, in the oval next week. Good observation. Interesting too, because if you're a manufacturer of a front wing, you've made a good profit tonight because there were that many front wings crunched up here.
Yeah, there was a lot, definitely a lot lost in lap 1. I think I got very lucky that I didn't lose mine at any point, even with slight contacts, so I got pretty lucky with it, but yeah, there was a lot of front wings littered around the track.
Indeed. And, I mean, how does the Indycar differ from the other things you drive, and how are you enjoying the challenge of the Indycar?
I love driving the Indycar. This has definitely been a big challenge. A lot less rear downforce than you think on acceleration, so easy to loop up light up those rear tyres and go for a spin, but no, I'm enjoying it, and it's something that teaches me throttle control, so it helps with everything else.
Indeed, of course, next week it'll be full throttle, open throttle. The Auto Club Speedway in California, what are your thoughts?
Definitely going to have to spend some time doing a bit more oval practice and learning the weight jacker. That's going to be the main thing. Getting used to changing the weight jacker as I lose grip with the car.
Very nicely done. We're very excited about oval racing back on the platforms of the GSRC. We've had a couple of road courses to get us going, but ovals in IndyCar, there's something about that just feels oh so right. And we end with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as well. Hey, Kurt, appreciate it, mate. Well done. At least you got to the checkered flag. Same can't be said for a few behind you, unfortunately, but well done. Good luck for the weekend. We'll see you Monday night.
Too easy, thank you.
From Kurt Nomenson to Liam Haycock. Geez, you had a topsy-turvy sort of a night, didn't you? I mean, fighting in the top 10 predominantly for much of the night. A spin early in the piece coming out of the bus stop, all on your own. It was pirouette sort of stuff because whoever was in close tow and pursuit of you at the time went as well, but there was no contact whatsoever. And then towards the back end there, strategy play, a late dive into the pit lane as late as lap 27 to get a bit of juice for the run home, mate. And in the end, the net result is 8th, one down on where you started. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, at the start I felt awesome because I felt like I got quite a good start and pulled through and got past quite a few people actually, but that spin you talked about, I was looking behind me and then I think I took too much curb or put down the throttle by mistake after the first corner of the bus stop, and the car was just snaking around for the rest of it, and then I spun as I saw the car behind me spin or start to spin, and so I lost about 10 seconds to that, but I kept pushing until I decided I'd hit a lap early and hope for a safety car so that I'd make all those positions back, and that would have worked, except what ended up happening after the second stop was I was quite close behind the car in front, and I think he must have been going like 20 k's an hour slower than what I was through the bus stop, and I just didn't expect it, and I only realized once I'd gone through the first corner, and by then it was just too late to do anything. So I lost some of my front wing, I think, and lost time, and then I had to put another 2 laps early. So I lost 3 laps of fuel, which is the cause of the late pit stop as well, which was painful, and ended up losing out on P7 by 8 1,000ths of a second. There's
Yes, in the run to the line. In saying that as well, Nick Fodiatis, I'll bring you in at this point in time. There's a few people that are ruining the deployment of that safety car at that time, but we call it a random competition caution for a reason. There's a number plucked out of thin air at the start of the night, and that's what you guys run with. But I reckon there's a few people that would have been very happy to see a second competition caution tonight.
Well, I mean, it's written in the rules. I write a fresh document each week, so it's down to the guys to read. If they don't want to read it, they're gonna just have to play it by ear. If there's one safety car, there's one safety car, and that's what I've written in. So it's a competition caution. It's to bunch the field back up. If someone's cocked up at the start, it gives them a second chance at life, so to speak, and you get people finishing the race. Like, I mean, in this particular one, how many do we have on the lead lap? We had, I'm just looking here.
Quite a few. All the way down.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
All the way
I think
down
we had
17 on the lead lap.
17, 18 on the lead lap, and then 20 in total. So that's the reason we do it. It's, again, I guess, built for TV or broadcast. But,
yes,
you know, there's no fun in hot lapping in my books. You got to be racing somebody. You want to pass them. You want to let them pass. You want to have another go, and then on top of all that, you got strategy to do that as well. So, look, I guess the best example is look at how we finished tonight.
Correct. Just extraordinary how we finished tonight. We'll hear from the race winner very shortly. Liam, before I let you go, what are your thoughts on the next job of the championship when we get to Auto Club Speedway, California next Friday night?
I'm not actually racing it. I don't own the track, sadly. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Will we see you for some of the other road courses later in the campaign?
Definitely. All the tracks I own, which I think is like 4 more or something, and hopefully Red Bull.
Well, we've got Circuit Barcelona, the Catalunya in week 5, Nürburgring week 6, Gateway, the oval there at Worldwide Technology. That's an interesting choice, Nick. Well done. That's the second of the 3 ovals, week 7. Week 8, of course, is Mugello. That will be a beauty. Week 9, Magny Core. And then week 10, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
So that's Auto Club Gateway and Barcelona. I won't be able to do.
Okay.
The rest I'll be here.
Excellent. We're looking forward to seeing you for all those rounds, mate. That'll be fantastic. Good luck. What's next on your GSRC racing agenda, please? When will we see you next on the grid, Liam? Outside of Indycar.
Outside of Indycar, maybe a few mountain men, but I don't have the time for any of the others because they're just too late. In Indycar, it's only because Friday night I have the whole weekend.
Exactly. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Just to follow up for the benefit of Adam, Nick, and Joe and everybody else, it'll be the Thursday night of week 9, the 5th of September, that I'm MIA because I've got friends from school saying let's go to Suncorp and watch the Broncos and Storm. I reckon that'll be a good game too, given the state of play in the championship at the moment. That was one of the defining moments. Liam Hay, actually, well done, Liam, because a few of your overtaking manoeuvres were very You were a man on a mission tonight, if I can say that. There was some very forceful, but you know, in hindsight, very clean overtaking manoeuvres on your part.
Yeah, I didn't want to do anything too risky, but I felt after the first couple laps, if I did spin out and wreck, it was kind of what I was gonna think was gonna happen from after that first spin. I was expecting not to finish, so I was just trying to get back to approximately where I started, hopefully make back the laps, but that didn't quite happen sadly. But made a few good overtakes out of it.
All right, very nicely done, mate. Yeah, there's one of the battles with Paul Wood actually on screen at the moment. Good stuff. All the best for the weekend, mate. We'll see you on the grid sometime soon.
All right, thank you.
Paul Wood's here, and the race winner Adam Lavis as well. Very good night for the Aussie Racers stable. Maybe our mate Dave Oliver won't be too far away either. He tends to drop by late in the piece. We've already heard from Greg Healy as well on behalf of the rest of the Whiskey Business Racing stable. Even when he's not racing, he ends up being the spokesperson for that team. I absolutely love it. And let's bring in Paul Wood at this point in time. A solid charge, Woodsy, all the way up into position number 3 at the end. A couple of guys caught out with a late splash and dash, but you were lucky in the sense that you were running to the same numbers as your teammate Adam Lavis, and we know where he ended up. But what a run from you, what a charge home. It didn't look like it was going to be top 5 there for a while, but then late misfortune for Lear and also for Luthwaite and a couple of others. Just the seas parted nicely for you, mate.
Yeah, the plan went pretty well. It was Adam's a good organiser there. He gave us all the numbers, that sort of thing, what to stick to. So we had a plan, we put it into practice, and it all worked out rather nicely in the end. So yeah, good race all in all. I made one little miscalculation partway through the race. So the end of my second last stint, I had to give a little bit of time back, otherwise I would have been a little bit closer to Adam on the exit of it, because I was just a little bit short by a couple hundred mils of fuel, but managed to get there, get back out. Near that last stint, we could just go, well, foot to the floor. So we were just sort of, see what we can make up at that point in time. It was so close. I had my fingers crossed. I thought for a second, can I get a second here? But unfortunately, I just wasn't close enough to capitalise on it there. So yeah, good race all in all, and congrats to Mr. Maverick for a great run race.
Indeed. Oh, look at the jockeying for positions that was going on, and that's the great thing about tonight. It wasn't just from the outset or at the end. It was all the way through. Even the middle stint was relentlessly intense, and it was good to see. Nice to have the Indycars back, isn't it, Woodsy? How have you found getting back into the groove of these things? And I asked that question because when we caught up with the great man Matty Dench last night, even he admitted that, we take the Porsche away for a 10-week season, we bring it back, and he's taken a couple of weeks to get his head back around it and become comfortable and familiar with it again. Has it been the same for you with the IndyCar?
Yeah, it has a little bit. It always takes me a little bit to get used to the cars, and it's been a while for me in IndyCar, but I always enjoy the road tracks for Indy, so I look forward to running them. But I got another little mechanical upgrade to my brake system, which I ran tonight, which I think made it a little more comfortable as well. So I was a bit more confident on the brakes, so a little more consistent, which helped. But yeah, enjoy the Indy. They're a good run. There's enough downforce there to have fun, but there's not too much that you stick to the track like glue, and you still got to watch your right foot that you can get a little bit excited. But yeah, they're a good car to drive. You can have some good battles. So yeah, it's as always, I look forward to them and running the, like I said, Nick doesn't like it, but yeah, ovals are not my forte, but road circuits with IndyCar, I don't mind it.
No, we don't mind it either, mate. We've had great fun throughout the course of the evening watching some magnificent road course racing IndyCar style. But next week, ovals, we're looking forward to that as well. The Auto Club Speedway, like it or lump it, ovals are a part of IndyCar racing. The Indianapolis 500 would be nothing without it, and IndyCar would be nothing without it. What are your thoughts on Auto Club? Because that is one of the faster racetracks that we'll visit this season, and certainly a lot of full throttle action.
Can I answer that for you, Paul?
Yeah, you can answer that for me.
He's not going to turn up. He's not going to turn up. I'll tell you that right now. I'd like Paul to do the commentary, and I'll go do the race, but no, he's not going to turn up at all. He won't even bat an eye to it.
Ovals are just not my cup of tea. I don't enjoy them whatsoever.
Okay. not even interested in challenging yourself to try and master them, Paul?
Oh, look, if I'm feeling really saucy on the evening, you might get lucky, but I wouldn't count on it.
I've tried every angle, Zach. He won't do it.
No, and if you're thinking, oh, I'll get lucky, geez, you're barking up the wrong tree there. Hey, now very quickly, Woodsy, before we let you go, you look at the other road courses that we've got on the schedule. I mean, it's a very European flavour to that. Do you like the calendar aside from those 3 ovals?
To tell you the truth, I don't actually know what tracks are coming up. I've been taking it week by week at the moment, but look, I'll give anything a crack with the Indycar. Like I said, any track, most of the time I will give it a run. Besides ovals.
Give an oval? Oh, okay.
No, just put that caveat in there. But yeah, I'll give it a crack. It doesn't mean I'll be good at it, but I'll give it a go, and yeah, we'll see what we can produce.
At some point, we've got to come back to the Red Bull Ring. We know that. Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya, Nürburgring, Gateway, Mugello, Magny-Cours. They're the road courses still to come.
Yeah, I think they should be interesting. It's some tight circuits there as well, so a lot of right foot control and be good on the braking. So I think we're going to have some interesting races ahead. We've got our statistician there, the Mr. Adam Maverick. If he can keep coming with all the numbers the way he is, which is serving us really well, we'll hopefully be able to produce some results. So yeah, looking forward to it. We'll see what we can produce.
All right, mate, and what's next for you, please, as far as GSRC competition is concerned? Is it Sunday for the Enduro, or is it Monday night?
It'll be Monday night for me, in the hope to start getting some decent results, because I've not had a good run really in GT3 at all so far this season. So yeah, we'll see if I can start to turn it around.
Indeed. Very nicely done. I've just had a message come into the central commentary position that I'm looking forward to replying to as soon as we're done here. And that is going to be good fun. And it's one that I've been the reply I've been waiting for a couple of days, actually. Hey, very quickly, Woodsy, well done, mate. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. And looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table next week. You mentioned that the master of the strategy was the race winner. We'll hear from him now. Adam Lavis, good evening to you. A question that I'll ask you straight off the top before I even talk about the race from your standpoint is because Woodsy was the one that said that you were crunching the numbers for him. You had the game plan in mind. You knew where you were going and what you were doing. How much did you have to alter the game plan once the competition caution was thrown, please?
Not too much. It just basically told us what we had to do to the end, because we worked out how to get the 7 laps out of the tank and keep decent speed that basically we came out right behind the leaders when they came out from that second stop. So they're sort of roughly where we thought if it was going to be a situation where we could save a stop. So it was sort of that was sort of working out. And yeah, basically just with 13 laps to go, you had to do at least a 6 and a 7, or 2 6s and a 1 if you're crazy. So yeah, it was just a matter of like that.
You got an 8-lap stint out of that second to last stint, did you not?
The safety car doesn't count, mate.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right.
The safety car lap only uses a lap and a half, a litre and a half fuel compared to the 5.5 litres you use normally. But it meant we still had to save. That's what caught Woodsy out, because we had to that meant we had to save a little bit extra to what we were doing in the first 2 stints to get that that third stint done. But yeah, it was just a matter of like, yeah, as soon as the safety car came out and we worked out it was going to be 3 laps to go, it was just like, right, one more easy cruisy run, and then it's flat pickies and grip holiday to the end. So yeah, it was good. I was a bit annoyed with myself. I tried to throw that win away twice, but luckily enough for me, Noble ran out of fuel and it's a very slow run out of that last corner, so you can't really do much about it. So but yeah, I was dirty with myself on the first one, even more dirty on the second one, and I was like, oh, hang on, he's got no fuel left. And then Woodsy was the same, because he only just missed out too. So he was like, because Woodsy probably could have used a couple more push passes and got through the guys a little faster, which would have helped him out. But it's a bit one of those hindsight's 2020 type things at the end of the day.
Actually, you had a couple of push to passes still up your sleeve, did you not?
Well, because like we worked out in practice, like if you went flat biggies with no push to passes, there's about 6.5 laps of fuel. So I knew I had a half a lap of fuel to play with, but I wasn't sure how many push to passes that was. So I used a few at the start to get past the guys I came out near in the pits. and then I sort of saved a little bit just to make sure at the end I was going to have enough to battle if I needed them at the end. So I probably could have used it. Like I had 2 left, I think, so I could have used them, but I wasn't 100% sure if that was going to cost me my fuel window at the end. So it was more of a sort of a caution thing in the middle of that last stint, just to make sure I had enough to be flat pickies all the way to the end.
Indeed. When we look at the information and the intel that we're getting from Adam Lavis now, it's all right to give the secrets, the tricks to the trade away after the job is done, knowing full well that it changes circuit to circuit. So he's not a closed can of worms at this point in time. He's just letting all the secrets out the bag. In saying that, yes.
Look, there was a bit of a high risk to the me and Woodsy strategy there, because the end of our second stint, if that safety car came out 1 lap early, we were screwed because we didn't have enough to get to the line if the safety car came out early. So we had to gamble to get that 1 extra lap. We didn't have to. We probably could have pitted given how quick the safety car came out. But it was like, well, would we gamble it? Let's go for it, and it paid off.
It paid off big time. And that being said, it could have been a completely different story had it not, as we know. And as we know, Cody Deeth would have had a rear grid penalty anyway, or a drive-through penalty, because of being in the pit lane when the competition caution was thrown. So just talk me through it, because I'm looking through the positional gains here. Jack Humphrey's up 12, Dave Oliver up 16. David driver of the night in terms of coming from 20th on the grid to... We barely spoke about Dave at all, and he's finished 4th. It's unbelievable what he's been able to do.
Dave's another one who knows how to play the fuel game, so he would have seen it from the start as well and played the game.
But for you, from 5th up to 1st, mate, yes, you tried to throw it away, but you wouldn't have been able to believe your luck on 2 occasions tonight when Chris Noble, going for the double, having won LMP2 last night, was looking good for Indycar tonight. You wouldn't have been able to believe your luck when he's coughed and spluttered, but that's the gamble he took by going a lap earlier than you did with that pit stop.
Well, yeah, because I knew he'd be tight. I wasn't sure how to, because like when we started when we were doing in the first half of that last stint, I wasn't really catching him that much. I was only like catching him about half a second or a lap type thing. So I knew at that point they probably weren't fuel saving hard enough to make it, because you still were, like, you had to. It was, even though it was only a half lap you needed in this thing, it was like you had to really get your fuel saving ducks in a row to get that half lap. So if you didn't commit to it early, it was going to be very hard to get there in the end, which is what would cause, because like as you saw, like Noble basically lost like 6 seconds in those last 2, or actually be more than that. It was 6 seconds plus whatever my spin cost me in the last 2 laps.
Yes. Speaking of the spin, there were a couple of moments, as you say, dicey. Where was the spin?
It was on the starting the last lap. It just a half slide, lost the rear through the final chicane. Like I caught right up to Noble, and I got a bit excited, and just a little bit too much brake on turning, and it just slid the rear. I had a half slide, got it back, lost about 2 or 3 seconds to him, and at that point I was like, I would have got him right down the Camel Straight here. I thought I'd done my dash. And because he held the gap for most of the lap, and then it wasn't until after the run up the hill that I actually started to catch him again. I was like, oh, hang on, it might be on here. Yeah. Then I almost blew the last corner as well.
On the button.
Reason I asked as well, Joe, is because we were watching the positional battles that were unfolding behind you blokes. So, and then we crossed back to you as soon as we saw the time just being sucked out of the advantage that Noble had. By that point, we knew that something was up. Either you were heavy on the push to pass button, or he was doing a bit of fuel saving. It turns out it was both. So,
I think I said I reckon he's fuel limited, because he pitted with his teammate and he went that extra lap. So Chris didn't pit, whereas Ashley, he pitted the lap prior.
Yeah. And that was the thing as well. So many people caught out having to stop 27, 28, 29 late in the piece there. But they're the risks you take. And again, it's simple, basic mathematics, the general mathematics that you do in high school. But not to be. Some play the game better than others, and as we know, we weren't surprised early on that Adam was able to go one extra lap than those around him. And again, in that stint, first up after the safety car, it meant it was only a 6-lap run home, and what a charge home it was. Mate, well done on that, because that was fantastic, and a great way to start the campaign for you. We have the updated championship points now, courtesy of your good self. 112 for Adam Lavis. This is after 2 rounds, of course. We've still got to find out what's going to happen when the originally scheduled round 2. Paul Wood, 89, so too Ashley. Jack Humphreys up to 4th on 70 points. Jackson Dial, 69. 62 for Aidan Luthwaite. 61 for John Merritt, but he wasn't on the grid tonight. 57 for Sam Stride, 57 for Aaron Russell, who wasn't on the grid tonight, and 55 for Chris Noble, who was non-classified in round 1. So there's a big gap in where round 2 would have been. Next week, however, Auto Club Speedway, California. We love the ovals. We know that you don't mind oval racing either, Adam. What are your thoughts?
You know, it should be fun. The ovals are always like fun, because there's like most of the time there's the high-speed chess game, so they're really fun, because you got to. Like there's times during an over race where it's just flat out Brussels sprout, but there's also lots of planning and thinking to do to try and maximise your run, because it's all about working backwards in the ovals. So you got to make sure that you're there at the end. So should be fun, and so it should be good. I think if Auto Club's the one I think of, just a word of warning for everybody: do not drop below the line on the tri-oval. It's death.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's always high speed, high stakes when we get to Auto Club. And on that note, I'll get Nick's thoughts on the calendar in just a few moments. But well done to you, Adam Lavis. Very nicely done. And by the way, we don't normally, and I mean this so sincerely, get to have a look at the great man's record on the platforms of the GSRC, because he's normally producing the broadcast, not participating. 6 Mountain Men Championships, 2 Porsche Open Cups, 1 V8 Development Series, 1 Wings and Slicks Championship, 1 IndyCar Series. He's a former champion in this caper. He knows what it's all about, and he proved why tonight. And I mean, we marvel in the likes of what Denchi's been able to achieve, but that in itself is nothing to turn your nose up at, ladies and gentlemen. This guy's a very skilled performer both sides of the fence.
To be fair though, the IndyCar one was basically just me and Nick battling it out. So because it wasn't a big turnout that last season.
And Joe.
Yeah, Joe was there. Yeah.
I was gonna say, Joe, if you wouldn't mind showing that last lap as well.
Yes, if we can.
Well, Adam's here.
If you can, I'll certainly try. Hang on, here we go. What have we got here?
I'll let you guys work on that. I do want to ask you, Nick, in the meantime. I mean, we're 2 rounds into what should be a 10-round campaign. I want to ask you about the thought process when you're putting this calendar together. We know about the road courses, but talk to me about. Oh, there's the spin that we were talking about. Wow. Okay, we did not see that. That's enormous.
We're looking a bit late at that stage.
That's how I started last lap. Yeah. So I would have been right on him to the right in on the camel straight then.
Extraordinary.
We were looking at pit lane with the guy. Who pitted that time?
Actually,
2 strokes a lap in 7 kilometres. Wow. Jesus. Nick, I want to ask you why you've gone with those 3 ovals, because we know that you're the one that orchestrates the series, puts this one together, everything from the schedule to the race format. Talk me through the selections of Worldwide Technology. We know Indianapolis, obviously, but why Auto Club as well? Because it's been a while since IndyCar's visited the Auto Club.
Well, I mean, Auto Club doesn't exist anymore anyway, but...
Not in that, guys. No, it's coming back
I think it's one grandstand now, but anyway.
Yeah.
I think they got rid of the drag strip as well. Yeah. But anyway, look, I've always enjoyed Auto Club. It's a flat-out oval, per se. It is a D-shaped oval. It's the sister track to the Michigan Speedway. But on the flip side, it can be run at nighttime, and nighttime ovals are very much a lot of fun, which leads me to Gateway, which is another nighttime race. It's a little bit more thinking. You have to think a bit more about it. One end's flat out. The other end you have to think about it, down change, choose your line. And it's not entirely a geometrical line around the ones and turn 1 and 2 around there. So a little bit more thinking, a little bit more strategy. I think Adam got his first win there in IndyCars as well, first and second wins. So yeah, that can be run under lights, and that's roughly the same weekend that we run it in the real world. So for the rest of the calendar, in terms of the tracks, I tried to line up as much F1 stuff. Look at this. This is what we were watching, Adam, by the way.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
But then we went to here, and we went, oh, he's got it. Oh, no, he hasn't got it.
No. Oh, no, he has got it. Oh, no, he hasn't got it.
He's lost the race.
Yeah.
Well, second place is pretty good. Oh, hold on a sec. What? He's run out of fuel.
Yeah.
That's what we saw, Adam, in terms of the broadcast. So, yeah,
it was
well
just
done.
chaotic in the commentary box as it was on the circuit.
It was just as chaotic in the Discord where Woody's like, is it the first line or the second line?
Here's the difference. When you come down here, Eds, and we'll come
But
out,
also, like Noble's like lifting all the way from putting on there because he's not putting on freaking Bonchon because he's got no fuel left.
You went deeper than I do in the Formula 1 in that corner too.
Yeah, and then up the outside and gone. Job done.
And
One of the lose that the same way you did the lap before, otherwise it would have been Noble's night, and Woodsy probably would have got you for second. Oh boy,
well, I mean, look at the results. Adam Lavers, 2/10 from Chris Noble, 5/10 to Paul Wood.
Yeah,
A total of 7/10 covering the top three.
And expect it to be as tight as that, if not tighter, next week. And am I surprised at this?
That's what she said.
No, Dave Oliver's jumped into the commentary box as well late in the piece. We'll hear from Dave in just a moment. There is Adam Lavis in Victory Lane, ladies and gentlemen, at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. Round 2 of the Indycar series done and dusted. He is your race winner. Adam, of course, we'll have the Mountain Men tomorrow night and the Enduro on Sunday. Are you jumping in for any of those, or is the next time we see you on Monday night when you're in the producer's chair?
Probably not the Enduro, but Mountain Men. As long as the parents don't decide they want to do games night, I should be there.
Mm-hmm. I think that's lovely that the parentals still want to get the family together and play games. I think that's fantastic. Mine don't do it because it's 800 kilometres and it's a bit too far to orchestrate that every week. And usually, given the temperament of usually the temperament of the Caven household, the Monopoly board usually ends up in the middle of an earthquake. So there's a reason why we don't do game night anymore. But no, isn't it nice? You know, some families are more tight knit than others. That's exactly right. Hey, and do say hi to the Lavis clan when you do see them next on my behalf. I've still got to have a chat about getting a bottle of the Lavis special at some point down the line. Before we go, Dave Oliver's here at long last. Mate, well done on fourth. 5.8 seconds down the road on all the carnage that was happening up the front. You minded your own business for much of that. It was really well put together, your race. We didn't see you too much in the thick of it. But when the whips were cracking and fuel strat was king, we knew that you'd be there alongside Adam Lavis as well. And you were up 16 spots from where you started, mate. Well done.
There you go. Hey. Yeah, quite surprising. It's definitely from starting down the back. Unfortunately, had little issues and couldn't qualify either. So yeah, started from the back and then just fuel, just save fuel and whatnot, and tried to see how long you could go. I didn't really even get many laps in practice, truthfully, as I would have liked to a heck of a lot more. Didn't even get a chance to run on the alternates at all until the race, so it was a bit of a head scratcher until I jumped in onto those. So luckily, didn't have to super push on those until right on the very end to protect the position from Jack.
Indeed, it was good racing too, mate. I mean, right throughout the course of the night, you couldn't afford to put a foot wrong once that safety car had been gone, come and went, because there was no artificial assistance for you for the rest of the night. Strat was king, as you say. I mean, the guys around you, I look at Ashley or I look at Jack Humphries, they all had to come in late, so too Liam Haycock. The seas just parted for you, but at the same time, as we found out with Adam Lavis, who has had to depart too, by the way, folks, and he sends his regards, and we say thanks to him and Paul Wood, who've seen themselves out. mistakes did have the potential to be really costly, and so did damage, and there was a fair bit of structural damage on a few of these cars tonight. Yours didn't appear to be one of them.
Yeah, it was one of those, especially with the strategy and stuff. It was one of those ones that, you know, you could see the guys up front just pulling away, and like even the first stop, I had the leaders literally come out, like came out in between first and second after they'd stopped. So, you know, that's already them 20 seconds up the road. You're like, oh, great, here we go. But, you know, it was a case of, you know, just trying to get the maximum out, and I think two of the first two stops I came in with probably just under half a litre of fuel, both stops, so you're pretty much, you know, you're on fumes there. And then when I hit it, then I did my third stop, and then legitimately on the out lap the safety car came out. So it was a case of, and I was like toying around, yeah, and I was like, I know it's potentially coming soon, and I literally stayed on the original set of primaries till then. So I did, even like up until the safety car, I hadn't put the alternates on, so I kind of knew it was coming. And then I knew that then my next two stops, after the safety car, I could just chuck the reds on and go for it from there. But it was then a case of I couldn't really go for it because you still had to fuel save. And it was like, oh, it was just like really annoying. Like Adam and the boys, they were like in this little pack, which was brilliant. But the problem was I was just off the back, and I'd drop off from the pack and on the straights, and I'd catch back up in the corners, and then they'll pull back away in the straights. And it was like this yo-yo effect, and they were luckily able to get one extra lap, which you know, which effectively that's what, you know, got Adam and Woodsy you know, on the podium, because they were able to save that extra bit. And stupidly I turned the wick up a little bit where I shouldn't have. I should have just stayed and done what I kept on doing, and I could have done the extra lap, but I was 3/4 of a litre short. So, and that's effectively, yeah, that's you know, that could have cost a solid podium, not, you know, just off it. So
actually, that's one point I know. I want to bring Nick Fodiatis back in at this point in time. Dave mentioned tyre strat. I didn't even think to ask anybody else what they did with regards to their tyre strat. It doesn't matter in the end. I mean, the results are what they are. But the question I got for you, mate, you did say that they were limited to, I think it was 3 sets of tyres. Was that 2 alternates, 1 primary, 2 primary, 1 alternate, or did they have their choice?
Oh, like, you got your choice. Is this 3 sets? So, it's a, you know, being a 4-segmented race, you're going to have to double stint a set of tyres, which generally most people lean towards a harder tyre. So, yeah, with the winning strategy is generally double stint the first set of blacks before the safety car, and then go reds to the end.
Yep. And as Kurt was saying here in the comments, tried to keep the alternates to push himself to the end, but I don't think he was able to, given the way in which his night played out. He had a couple of extra visits to pit lane that he wasn't backing on. Dave, I mean, obviously we know the alternates deteriorate a lot quicker than the primaries, but how bad was the tyre by the end of that second stint that one should double stinted those primaries?
I think it was probably, usually the front, it's usually the front right that cops it here. So it was roughly probably about 10%, 10-12% a stint. And because we're doing pretty short stints here, like we're only doing 6-7 laps, and because I was saving, it was a case of, you know, if you were doing what some of the other guys did and just went full beans doing 6 laps, you would have been using, well, probably 15% plus, but because you're just, you know, just trying to keep up the corner speed and stuff, it's an interesting one, because straight away, as soon as after the safety car and you're on the reds, your corner speed's just so much up, even though you're saving. So we were, I think roughly it was a case of you know, nearly a second and a half a lap quicker on the reds, even just fuel saving. So just because you got that, you know, the quicker through the corners.
Indeed, righto. thoughts on, because we're now almost at the 2 hour mark here, mate, so we're going to wrap this up very shortly, but what are your thoughts on Auto Club being the next stop? And also, I guess, now that Spa Week is done, it must be nice to know that you're going to jump in here next week and jump on mostly different circuits each night you do.
Well, this is actually my first run in this season, so it's a case of, it's actually probably
welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, and also it's a case of probably a good little practice potentially for Sunday, because these cars would be, I'm guessing, roughly probably maybe a bit quicker than the prototypes for the Enduro, but at least, you know, it's a case of you know, it's better to run in one of these than it is to, you know, run around an MX-5 and then jump into into a hypercar. So at least I've got a good 35 laps under my belt for Sunday, if that eventuates, and and then go from there, and then hopefully see what happens next week. So unfortunately, I was busy the first 2 weeks with being away, and then last week I was working next to an Arnott's factory and a tip, as you know, as we know, SMP.
I was going to say, you're back out there tomorrow as well?
No, actually, it's because APRA's at the state round, so it's of course. So, sorry, Terry, I actually nearly forgot it was even on. So sorry, Tez. But yeah, I'll see what happens. I might duck out there and have a squiz, but I might just go out there without a camera. Shock horror, but you know, see what happens. These next couple of weeks, and just jump on when I can. So,
actually, on that subject, can I say very quickly 2 things? Well done to the ARDC for opening up the floodgates and opening up the turnstiles for nothing for the next couple of rounds of the state motor racing Motorsport Australia Championship, and of course next weekend up here. TCR and all the Speed Series categories are in town at QR, but have you seen the on-track schedule? They're on track 7 a.m. through to 5 p.m. all day, every day. It is an enormous schedule. That's what happens when you try and merge what should have been 2 events into one. Well done again, Motorsport Australia.
Yeah, I think from what I've heard, it's a carbon copy of the Ben schedule, unfortunately. So from what I've heard from a few mates, so yeah, imagine being at the on track, ready to go at 7 a.m. It sounds exactly like Easter Festival, unfortunately.
Yeah, it sounds less than. I mean, I'm only going out there on the Friday. I've got work Friday night. I've got work Saturday morning. I've got work Sunday afternoon. So I'm not wasting my time and going out there when I can be sleeping and watching the Olympics and other things. But I'll go out and net a couple of interviews on Friday. I've got Ryan Cash coming into the studio, Ipswich local, on Monday as well. So that'll be my contribution to the Speed Series this season. I had been contacted by the category manager about doing some more, but when she found out the radio station wanted to charge for the privilege, she lost interest, I think, or Motorsport Australia or TCR did one or the other. But there's certain people that I'm not doing favours for anymore, and unfortunately she's one of them. In saying that, we're all but at the point of wrapping this one up. I'm getting the wind up from Joe. Dave Oliver, thank you. Great to have you on board once again. I'll hopefully see you on a more regular basis throughout the rest of the season. Nice way to get back into the groove of things, mate. Well done.
No worries. Thanks again. It was a good race.
Final thoughts from you, Nick Fodiatis, because that was, I mean, we've had some good finishes in Indycar, but that'll have to go down as one of the best.
Well, I guess quickly I'd like to go through, I'll have to go through with Adam and the statistics. I think that's got to be the closest top 3 finish we've had in a GSRC, or it's got to be one of the top 5 at least. For
a road course race, yeah. I mean, there'd only be some Formula V races that might be ahead of you, but as far as Indycar is concerned, that'd have to be, right up there.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent stuff. Great racing. Joe, your thoughts?
Bring on next week, Auto Club California, a little bit of oval, something different, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But we can have a look here. It's a little bit mucked up because we lost last week, but
that's right.
here's what we've got coming up. We'll probably run a round 2, probably around September. Well, that'll be September 20.
Yeah.
I'd say we'll probably run it on that Friday night rather than doing a double header. So So this is what we've got it coming. So, yeah, Barcelona, Nürburgring, a couple of the classic European tracks there, and then back to the oval at Worldwide Technology Raceway in 3 weeks' time there.
Yeah, it should be good. Straight after that, the Italian Grand Prix, I just changed it to Mugello instead of Monza because something different.
That's right.
French Grand Prix, which doesn't exist anymore, and then finished in Indianapolis. Well, then we got the week 11, as I'll call it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's conversations being had between committee members and series organisers about wedging Red Bull Ring in between Magny-Cours and Indianapolis, because it is the showpiece on the calendar, Indianapolis, and it'd be wrong not to finish there, I think. But that's another story for another day. Thank you, Nick Fodiatis, for your expert comments tonight. Appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Zach.
Pleasure to be back on a Friday night, back to where we began, the humble beginnings of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club 4.5 years ago. Can you believe that? We're back here already. An enormous schedule of what's coming your way on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Let's just remind you of that now. Joe's in front and centre in charge of Mountain Men tomorrow night, the Pro 2 trucks from Mount Panorama Bathurst, 32 laps, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Enduro is on Sunday, the final round of the GSRC Endurance Championship for the moment. Maybe somewhere down the line there'll be a return to Sunday endurance racing on the platforms of the GSRC, but for the moment that will be the end of an era for the Enduros, and it's 6 hours around Spa from 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you aren't already sick of Spa, come and give yourself 6 more hours of it on Sunday. And we wish Josh Dino and the rest of the team the very best of luck with that. Monday night, a return to normal programming with the Super 2 and Super 3 supercars from Monza. On the subject of Italy, we go to the road course there on Monday night, 25 minutes, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Adam Lavis and I'll be with you for that. GT3 follows. We'll bring you the pro split from the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. No Nordschleife this time around, 60 minutes around the Nürburgring GP circuit, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Tuesday night, that introductory formula's back, week 4, Skippies, Sebring. That'll be good. The club circuit at Sebring, even better. Because the club, the club configuration at Sebring produced some cracking Formula V racing when we took it there last season, so I'm sure the Skippies will do the same. It's followed by GSRC Wings and Slicks from Phillip Island. Not the only time you'll see Phillip Island next week, 40 minutes there, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday night, have a look at that. Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for the GT4 Challenge, preceded by, I think it'll be 2 laps and 3 laps, respectively. The races for the Mustang FR 500s from the same from the Nürburgring Nordschleife. By gee, that's going to be a tough slog for those guys. At 2 laps for race 1 over 15 minutes, and 3 laps for race 2 over 25, and probably a splash and dash requirement as well. That will be 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to your company for that. And of course, the GT4s get underway at 8:45. That is a sprint round from the historic configuration of Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Thursday night, the Downforce Legends, Phillip Island, sprint races on the agenda there, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And that's followed by a trip to Mount Panorama Bathurst for the first of 2 60-minute races for the Porsche Cup Series. And we'll have probably a full grid there from 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. That is a slightly longer broadcast because it is a slightly longer race than the cracking 40 minutes we had around here last night. Auto Club Speedway, 105 laps or 65 minutes, whichever comes first. Friday night, Joe will be here, not sure who with. I will be MIA because of commitments with the Ipswich Football Club. They've got Friday night football for the last time this season next week, so I'll be away with that. But that'll be from 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Looking forward to that immensely. We couldn't do what we do here without the great support of the following. Of course, we want to thank the likes of Waste Options, Sprite and Cider, also merch.tgsrci.com, Orbic Australia, Loadsy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. Huge thanks to those guys, because without them, none of this is possible, least of all the broadcasts. And Joe just had it up there flashing on the screen. If you want to get your hands on some of the GSRC embroidered paraphernalia, there's the place to do it, ladies and gentlemen. GSRCmerch.myshopify.com or merch.tgsrci.com. Both website links take you to the same address. And of course, swap out merch for race.tgsrci.com for more information on the club itself, how to get involved, etc. and so forth. And Jackson Dial's just confirming via Discord that he had a PC crash between qualifying and the race. That's why he had to start from pit lane, and it's caused one hell of a nightmare of a night for him. Very, very unlucky indeed. So that's it. We're done on a Friday night. Great to get the band back together. Nick Fodiatis and I started out on a Friday night in April of 2020. Never thought I'd say it, but we're here 4.5 years later doing the same thing. But we've seen some great IndyCar racing in the past. Tonight, one of the best. Strategy wins out. Adam Ravis gets his first win of the campaign and takes the championship lead to go with it. On behalf of Nick Fodiatis, Joe Baldwin, all the crew here, I'm Zach Caven. Have a great weekend, everybody. Plenty to look forward to and sink your teeth into. Of course, there is the GSRC Mountain Men on Saturday night and the Enduro on Sunday. But real world stuff. The Spa round, the Belgian Grand Prix, the final round before the summer break, the FIA Formula One World Championship practice underway now. You can go and tune into Fox Sports for that. And of course, you've also got the games of the 33rd Olympiad getting underway as well from 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. So all that and more to look forward to, and we'll see on the back end of that on Monday night. And we'll have Olympic updates throughout the course of the next 2 weeks as well. And the AFL in the closing stages, Port Adelaide have taken the lead over Carlton as well. Melbourne got the job done over Parramatta in the NRL. It's been good fun. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Week 3, Term 3, done and dusted. See you Monday, everybody. I'm Zach Caven. Bye for now.